The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. It's Circle Back here on the Circles Off channel. It's part of the Hammer Bet Network and presented by Kalshi. This is the show where we cover the latest and greatest stories from gambling Twitter. We're doing so with the normal crew here for your new live shows on Monday. Second time we are running these shows live. We got some great reception from the first live show that we did. We're hoping to keep that going into the second show as well. I'm your host here on Circle Back. My name is Jacob Gramegna. I host other shows within the Hammer Bet Network, but I'm a producer and creator here with the company. We have the CEO, as always, in the house, Rob Pizzola, professional sports bettor on top of that. In the middle chair, we've got Kirk Evans, seasoned NBA and these days WNBA bettor as well. And then on the left side to round off the crew, it is Geoff Fienberg, Chargers super fan. Jeff, how you feeling today?
I feel great.
Yeah, you're not nervous at all about?
No, I actually hate that the game is at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
go from Friday to a Monday.
Yeah,
like I just want Vern Lundqvist, Dick Enberg calling my game at 4:30 on Sunday.
Yeah, I understand. The primetime games always rattled me a little bit as a fan as well, but especially if it was going to be a late game and you got to stay up a little bit later.
10 o'clock Monday is the worst slot you can have for your favorite team.
I think so as well.
Yeah, it's torture. And my wife's got something like important where she's leaving early tomorrow. So I'm on like early shift with 3 kids after I take down a bottle of Tito's.
Well, you're choosing to take down the bottle of Tito's. Like that's a conscious decision you're making.
I just like to ease it. It gets me through it.
I know. I've watched games with you before. I can tell. But yeah, at least it's football. I mean, what are we complaining about? I spent an hour this morning arguing about fourth down decision making with people on Twitter. We're blessed at this point to be able to watch the NFL. So 10 o'clock game. I'm not even a fan of the Raiders or Chargers. I'll be up till the end of that game for sure.
For sure.
I mean, even last night I felt like it didn't help that it was a really bad game, but even last night kind of dragged into the night a bit. I was feeling a little tired. I don't know about you guys. That was a rough one.
Well, I think like if you bet the games yesterday, which we all did, there's probably some severe rushes of adrenaline over the course of that day because so many of the games came down to the wire. I thought it was actually one of the best NFL Sundays I could remember in recent memory.
Well, not Sunday Night Football is what I'm getting at.
But like that's where you crack. The day was so good. I think that there was, as soon as we saw what that Sunday night game was going to be, there was like a little bit of a crash out effect, and definitely Kirk was crashing out watching JJ McCarthy. And knowing that Beak was going to be on the case today as well.
You get any DMs from the Beak after that one?
No, my last 2 DMs from the Beak are "I love you." Him sending to me. That's.
Well, he loves you because you might have to pay him at the end of the year.
I honestly think such a great disservice has been done to JJ McCarthy.
Okay,
we're talking about a guy that's played 2 games. We're like people I really do respect their football acumen, knowledge. Spent like the last 2 years telling me like Joe Montana was walking through that door
right.
from like game 1. Like we shouldn't even acknowledge, it shouldn't even matter for like 6 weeks for him. In the same way, it shouldn't matter for Cam Ward. I know the team is in a different position than say the Titans, but the expectation and the narrative around him has like almost taken away the grace that people want to just give a rookie. And the comeback victory has a baby. I mean, it should just be a write-off.
Yeah.
And I will give him the grace. Like whatever happened in week 2 is a write-off after that, what he is going through in real life. But again, people made it like Steve Young or Joe Montana was like showing up. So and then Tom Brady's going to take over in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I think the first 2 games, like I agree with you. He could be still a very good quarterback in his career, but like, I think normally if a guy's like really the real deal, especially being like actually a second-year player, he would have probably shown more through two. Like, I agree, give him grace, and he could still be very good, but like Mahomes, for example, came in and was just, but obviously he's not Mahomes. But it's funny, like the Beak point, it's like, I actually wrote a whole article about why I liked all the Viking stuff. And my entire point was that I have no idea how good JJ McCarthy is, but he might be really, really good. And if he is, the Vikings are going to like be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like I didn't actually have much of a take on JJ McCarthy. I just thought he was in a really good situation. But it's funny getting dunked on by the Beak.
Yeah, but to Jeff's point, I think there's like an unrealistic set of expectations. Maybe not unrealistic, but you know, you look at last year, the thought is they move off from Darnold, they're going to McCarthy. They have Kevin O'Connell as the head coach, who I think a lot of people widely view as being one of the better coaches in the league, although I cannot understand the play calling for the Vikings through 2 games. I don't get it. But there is this, it's weird. It's like, for a guy that was a 10th overall pick, and some people thought that was a reach in the first round, it feels like universally everyone just kind of expects him to be good immediately, and you don't get that with other quarterbacks. So I don't know. It's definitely a weird situation for me.
Yeah, I do. I'm not sure. I think I agree with you in terms of like median expectations were clearly high, but like I just thought the range of outcomes were really wide, and like some like Stroud and Daniels in their first season were MVP quality,
right?
Or like MVP caliber players in their first year. So I don't think it was impossible that it could happen, but I do agree with you. The most likely situation is maybe a bit better than what he's been through 2 games. It's not like this is like crazy that it's been like that.
But to be fair, his expectations were like way more than Jaden Daniels was last year.
Yes.
Totally.
And even CJ Stroud, like Texans absolute
Drake
dumpster
May,
fire.
like guys that were drafted top 3.
So that's all what it is. Like, he's fine. He'll be fine. The expectations just from all levels, and I'm not saying from in the building. I mean, he's insulated in a great building, maybe one of the best buildings in the league. He's fine. And the media does him no favors by giving him that award last week.
Oh,
they just create like meme. They just
honestly,
create
like nobody else could have gotten it though. It was kind of a
Jordan
Jordan
Love
Love
could have got
it.
like they're just
Yeah.
create
Like,
like foaming
not
at the
really,
mouth
though.
meme opportunity to just pick on him. Again, I'm a fan. After the whole week in totality, like I don't even care that he played poorly.
No, we'll see what happens, but looks like Kirk might have to pay up to the Beak at the end of the year.
I mean, 1 good quarter and 7 bad ones. We'll see how it goes.
We're going to
the
go
rest
through
of the
this
season.
roller coaster all year, I imagine.
We will. The JJ McCarthy.
He's like the new
roller coaster.
Tua in terms of, I think, polarizing. If Tua's actually doesn't take any accountability.
Well,
no, I don't mean
2
he's
games.
Tua. Stop. Sorry, I phrased that wrong. He's not Tua in terms of like skill or ceiling. He like for like 3 years, debate around Tua was the most like polarizing debate around any freaking quarterback. And if the Dolphins are going to be dog shit and Tua's not going to take any accountability, as the internet, maybe we need a new guy to make that guy. And at the moment, it seems like he's the front runner. That's what I meant.
You'll remember this from a decade ago, but there was like the Flacco elite meter.
Of course.
I think you could easily do a McCarthy elite meter because the takes are all his every single throw from him is dissected by everyone. Like it's insane how every little play is dissected. I have not seen this in a long time, but it's Kirk's fault. He wrote about it in Kirk's Hammer, and he's just created this now.
Let's get on with the show, guys. We got a lot to get to today. Didn't mean to open up that big of a can of worms, but it is what it is. You know, JJ McCarthy is a polarizing figure in this space, but I don't think this topic will be polarizing really in the slightest. We should, I would think, all be on the same page with this one. Jared Smith at Jared Smith Bets, who we've had some negative comments about him on the show previously, but he brought up something that we found pretty important here. He said, someone in my Discord sent me this, and I felt like it needed to be amplified. Apparently, Draftkings booked a 6-point teaser bet at -120 in June before they increased the teaser prices, but then paid it out at the new price of -135. Super shady behavior. And here's a screenshot showcasing the teaser leg, and the paid amount on the winning teaser was not the -120 price. Rob, how are they even allowed to do this? They booked a bet at a certain price and then they paid it out at a different price.
So first and foremost, it's definitely Bush League. It's the running joke, but obviously I'll mention it for the millionth time on this channel that I consulted for Sportsbooks before. So I have a good idea of how things work. And as much as I don't like DraftKings as a brand for many reasons, I don't think that they intentionally tried to pull one over here on people, right? If you understand how like the tech stacks work for any sportsbook, they are vast. Like there's a lot going on, and it's very likely that they implemented some sort of change to something in regards to teaser pricing or whatever that ended up breaking something somewhere else. That's the very likely root cause of this. It is unacceptable for that to happen. There's, QA. There should be some analysis and testing done before you launch any sort of product to make sure it doesn't break other sorts of things. And Jared brought this to the attention of other people. Some people in the thread were like, who cares? Like the guy's going to lose like $2 or whatever it is on the different teaser pricing. That's not the point. Like in sports betting, it's the principle. You have a ticket, you're expected to be paid what that ticket says. So I agree. Like this kind of stuff can't happen. It simply can't. I understand why the mistakes happen, but it just sets a bad precedent for the space. And then, I'm following up in this thread. This guy's reaching out to support. They're not amending it for him. Like that's insane to me. How you cannot fix that.
Before we go to Kirk, I just want to bring up the chat we have right now.
That's what I was going to bring up as well.
So Chris Deerkiss at Flip No Line says, same page, Kirk Evans is sitting right there. He will probably back DraftKings somehow. And then he says, oh my God, of course, Rob sucks off the book.
No, wait. What is he talking about? Did he Flip? Like, fucking pull the earwax out of the ears, man. I'm not saying that this is an acceptable practice. I'm explaining why it could happen. It is not acceptable in any circumstance. If this happened to me, I would be livid. If I contacted support and they're like, no, this is the price now, I would go to socials as well. I would try to drag the company down.
I think that would be a good time to go to social media to make your claim against the sportsbook rather than, I don't know, maybe taking an angle shot or something. But Kirk, let's hear your thoughts.
I'm happy you went first here because I was certain that I was going to get sportsbook sympathizer accusations. Yeah, pretty much everything you said was my thoughts. This is pretty obviously a software error that doesn't make it acceptable. It sucks. And also, obviously, it should have been rectified very fast. But, like, the liability here was for sure so small on DraftKings end. There's no way it was, like, actually, like, deliberately shady behavior. It was more, like, unacceptable, poor, dumb behavior.
That's fine. But it is repugnant and vile that then DraftKings will make it moon landing complicated, right? Like it's like moving heaven and earth to take care of this guy who you've clearly wronged with your criminal behavior in your criminal enterprise.
When you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you don't get to just like shrug your shoulders and say, oops. Like, you fucking fix it for people. Like, you be proactive. Yeah. You send out an email like, we've identified we had mispriced some teasers. We fixed these in your account.
And give them $100 free back.
Exactly. That's customer service.
It's like a brain-dead squirrel factory. Because you go to, like, the low-rent grocery store, and they ring something up at the wrong price, and you know that said 8. Why was it, like, on sale for 8? It's not 12. Jimmy from produce can run over to the counter and in 4 seconds make it the right fucking price.
Yeah, I agree.
It's shameful.
Jared's last 3 words, super shady behavior. I agree.
That rat Fink will come out in every single statement that these guys make.
Yes,
talking about how we're squeezing everybody.
I know. To me, I think customer service has a long way to go in the sports betting industry, right? It's one thing, okay, yeah, let's make people happy. We'll refund some bets. We'll do this and we'll do that. But like, this is just, it should be industry standard. It should not. And when you think about what this is for, right? Like, what's the difference in pricing? It was minus 120 originally, and they changed it to minus 135, and they paid. It's probably like off the top of my head, really like a $10 difference, roughly.
Oh, it's a big $10 to that Nebby Rat Fink Robin.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
It's $12.12.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, thank you, Jacob. That's nothing. That is nothing to just make a customer happy so that they will continue to play there. Like, I don't understand the customer service precedents that are currently in place with a lot of these books. I don't know if they're outsourcing to places where maybe
$11.12 before someone jumps on me.
I go back to it. I get picked on a bit because it doesn't make sense because it's not apples to apples. But at its core, it's apples to apples. You're gonna like treat someone. You're gonna make someone feel like you're gonna gaslight someone essentially.
Yeah.
Like in any other business, I'm not shopping here. We're not coming back to this restaurant. There's other places. As sports betting gets bigger, I can just take my business elsewhere. And not everyone is a pro where the 4 cents matters. I'll swallow. There'll even be times out of principle. I know this sounds crazy to you as a pro bettor.
I know you, so it actually doesn't sound crazy.
No, this isn't me because I have access to every book.
Right.
And it's betting is one thing where I actually do want to get best number. It makes me feel better about myself even if I lose.
I like hearing that.
But if you do this to someone, even if you've got 5-10 cents better, out of principle, they're just done betting with you.
That's it.
Full stop.
And then you know what happens? They go into their group chat on WhatsApp or Telegram and they're like, Draftkings fucked me. Don't bet there. And you know what? Maybe their friends still will. But
and it's kind of like the cable and the airlines. Like they do have us by the balls.
Oh, yeah. But
as it gets bigger, there's still enough shops where you can take your business elsewhere.
All of the stuff in that thread, was alleged. So I haven't really reached out to that player.
You think that's fake?
No, I don't.
That's a screenshot?
I don't. But I'm just saying, I don't know. You never know on the internet nowadays what people are willing to do. I will say, I do strongly.
You're gonna like clout chase for the $12?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
he posted it in the Discord. It's for sure real.
It was very clearly, in my opinion, unintentional by the book, but then they handled everything after the fact extremely poorly.
Agreed.
All right, we'll move into the second topic of conversation today, which also kind of includes the other side of the counter for sportsbooks. We have a tweet here from Brad Powers who said, "I bet Mississippi State minus 21.5. Game open 21.5, closed 42.5. They won 63-0. But there was a quote. It was a quote tweet because Mississippi State football said, in accordance with NCAA rules, both head coaches have agreed to play 10-minute quarters in the second half. The adjustment was made with the approval of the referee and game officials. So he said all of his bets, which he got at numbers much better than 42.5, he called losses. But as I showcased with the screenshot on the side here, the bet already had won by halftime. It already would have covered. So I'm a little confused by this because wouldn't this just be a push? Yeah. Second of all, he did reply and say he did actually get paid out. But what was the kind of concern he had about this?
So he used X's, probably not the best to use because they would just void these bets. Most of the sportsbook rules state that the game has to go at least 55 minutes. So by playing 10-minute quarters in the second half, it's only going 50 minutes, and it's not enough to reach the amount of time for it to be considered a valid game. So typically what would happen is a void in this situation. And this wouldn't be the first time. This has happened many times. These are the types of bets that I would say would make me physically ill if I was on these because you have won. There's nothing that's going to happen here to change the outcome, but there are terms and conditions in place, and I'm also a proponent of sportsbooks being, grading using the house rules. Like there's house rules in place for a reason. I think that there has to be some fairness one way or another. Remember, there's going to be someone else who bet in that game, the Alcorn State Braves, who got refunded now, and they're having the exact opposite.
But remember, Brad Powers replied later and said he actually got paid out for these bets.
So that's now, now we're going to start getting into you have house rules that state one thing. We're getting into the precedent now of what we got into with the injuries, where if someone gets hurt early in a game, and now sportsbooks in some instances would say, we're going to refund you. but on other times they would not. And then you'd get the mass army of people online. And I think we're actually going to get there at some point with these types of situations as well, because I understand what the house rule is, but sometimes it's the same. It's almost very similar to the first topic, right? Like, you're a sports book. How much money could have been bet on Mississippi State, Alcorn State? Like, sometimes just keep your players happy. Void the losing bets, pay out the ones that would have won. Like, it seems to me like it should be general practice.
I don't even really think this is like much of a sports book conversation. Like, I think, to me, this very much reads as someone who's been on tilt many a time. This is a better on tilt right there. Like, he put X's next to them. Obviously, the bets weren't lost. I'm fucking... Like, sometimes you just have a little machine right next to you that you can tweet out your anger when maybe it's not like what you would do 30 minutes later. But
he put, I'm fucking tired at the end. But think about it. You bet 21 and a half, 23 and a half, 26 and a half, 30 and a half. The game closes 42 and a half. The game
they almost 3 out of 4 of them covered in the first quarter.
What is it? At the half, it's 34-0. Well, I can't see 42-0 at the half.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
Yeah.
Like, you did everything perfectly, and then these coaches at the half are like, we're not. Like, I would be I would be way more tilted than Brad was in this tweet.
Totally, and completely agree. It's like a very tilting bet for sure. I'm happy he got paid out. But yeah, I do kind of think that this is a stupid rule in the sports book. Like, I think those house rules were designed for like rainouts and weather stuff. But like, this becoming more and more prevalent, it should just be a separate house rule of like, if the game finishes but coaches agree to this, like, we pay out the winner and don't pay out the loser.
I mean, like, the level of engineering that would go to grading this bet properly would just be too much for the Muppets to figure out. And this goes back to when Hamlin took a nap in the game. And
talking about Damar Hamlin?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And
I mean, he did die on the field.
There was...
Why? What a ricochet shot at Damar Hamlin. Took a nap.
Geoff had to root against him for an entire year because of...
There's so much like backstory to this point.
Yeah, Geoff was not buying the comeback player of the year.
I was like,
Damar
took a
Hamlin.
nap. Did the NASCAR racer take a nap?
No, but and like, there was one of the teams was already over their win total, but they've like play less games.
Yeah.
And again, like, they make it like it's the most complex. Solving cancer is as complicated as paying out a customer whose team won more than the total amount of games, even if the season played one less.
And again, I know I somehow am in this position a lot. They did pay him out.
Yes,
they
did.
Paid him out.
Agree.
I agree. And
agree.
also, the loser here, like anyone who bet on Alcorn State,
I'm telling you, they didn't make it easy on him, though.
He didn't. He was just
he preemptively posted this, expecting it to get voided.
He thought it was going to get voided. It never did. He was just mad that this happened. And then also, I bet you anyone who bet on Alcorn State, maybe they graded it as a loss.
The lead Muppet on duty.
Maybe they graded it as a loss, but I bet you they could get it as a push. But I
Shout
don't
out to the top Muppet.
Like, this to me is much more of like a rules thing than like a sports book being shitty thing. But
so I got two things. First and foremost, Brad's got a big following on Twitter, right? I can guarantee you the next time something similar happens, someone is going to take Brad Powers' tweet that he got paid out, and they're going to message a sportsbook and be like, what the fuck? And this, again, is creating precedent for people to complain about these things when they ignore the house rules. The second thing is, this NCAA rule is so fucking stupid. Think about imagine an NBA game that's a blowout at the half, and they're just like, you know what? We're going to do like a race to 80 maybe tonight, and then we'll just call it a night. Whoever hits 80 first, we're out of here. Like, the fans pay money for the tickets for 60 minutes. Players and coaches prepare for 60 minutes. Like, this is not...
Sponsorship.
I actually have no problem
segments.
with this from the coaches.
Well, I just think teams of this like difference in skill level shouldn't be playing.
Sure,
that's another problem.
Well, that's the genesis of it. And I agree.
Like Mississippi could just get all their backups in. All these guys who are never barely going to touch the field all season now have a chance to play in a game.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck is Alcorn State playing Mississippi State? Like, why are we doing that?
I mean,
Probably
that's
like
a
$200,000
question that I
bucks.
can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But, like,
exactly.
It's such a stupid part of college.
I don't even like in men's league what like if a team three-quarters way through the game just says they're done. Like let alone an NCAA
Guys.
sanctioned event. This is the part I wanted to get at.
In the history of sports, okay, there have been mercy rules before that are part of leagues or whatever. That happens. That's fine. Institute some sort of mercy rule if you want to, that where it's a standardized rule across the NCAA that if one team gets out ahead by 50 points, we're calling the game. Do that rather than just letting the coaches meet and decide how much more time they're going to play. Like, that's nonsensical to me. In the history of sport, when does that happen?
Football's just a bit of a different sport because it's like you can have such an unfair, like, physical advantage on the other team that you're kind of just bullying them.
Sure, I've seen baseball games where a team wins by 20 runs.
I know, sure, but it's not like that does in baseball. Offensive tackle doesn't have to face a defensive tackle who runs, way faster and is way stronger than them every play.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. I still don't like it, but I am willing to concede that.
I think in the
maybe
games where
it's-
like there's a position player pitching, they should have just fucking.
that's
forfeited.
another thing. We fucking.
But
see
they
position-
got the fans paid that they play it out. But they should. I think. I'm speaking for only myself. I wouldn't feel cheated. I'd be like, thank you for letting me leave early. I'm
right, well,
personally.
At that college
No
game,
matter
They-
what,
this-
you can leave early though. This is my point, Jeff. You could leave at
All right,
any
so-
point.
sorry.
Yeah, I know I
Sorry
could.
to interject. We're live. We can't go over time. I don't want to open up this whole other segment here on when sports should cancel things early.
I'm just saying, as a fan, if you pay full price for a ticket expecting a 60-minute game, you should be entitled
You're
to see
entitled to see it
a
if you want to.
60-minute game. And if you want to leave after 40 minutes because it's a blowout, then fucking leave
Well
at that
said.
point. That's it.
So, sorry nobody else can go, but we do have to keep it moving here, and we're going to keep it moving on the hammer for today and the rest of the week. CEO Rob, let us know what's going on the rest of the day today.
Yeah, so we just covered a Brad Powers tweet. He'll be live with Joey Knish. That's on the Hit the Books channel. I actually really dislike doing this promo because I don't like Knish very much, and I like Brad a lot. It is actually the best college football show out there. It really is. It's so entertaining. The group chat just like takes it to a whole nother level. So if you haven't checked it out and you're into college football, 5 p.m. Eastern time, that's on the Hit the Books channel. Tonight with Monday Night Football, we have two games. We're covering the first game live. So that is the Houston Texans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's over on Forward Progress. I'm going to be here with Takes by Jay, Jason Cooper. I'll go live about 15 minutes before the game to give out prop bets, SGPs, whatever else I think is worthwhile. Historically, we've done pretty well with these, even with the short amount of time to bet them before the game. So tune in. That's going to be live for Bucks and Texans. And then towards the end of that game as well, I'll give out some props for Chargers Raiders tonight. So don't want to miss that. It's very entertaining.
Knish going to call you a slacker for not staying here till 2 a.m, Rob.
Knish has absolutely no ground. The guy shows up 10 to 15 minutes late for every single recording. He does nothing outside of the shows ever. It's like, Knish, can you just come to this meeting just so you could be like understand what's going on this week for 5 minutes? If there's any person in the history of the world who cannot call other people slackers or blame them for taking vacation days, it is Joey Knish. But he does co-host a hell of a college football show, and I will give him credit for that.
I think he does a great job balancing his like real life and internet content betting persona.
Yeah, I think Joey Knish is like the Simon Hunter of the Hammer, except he doesn't go around claiming to be the world's greatest bettor. That's the biggest difference between the two. But I would say he's very entertaining, just like Simon is. And I would tune in for that.
All right, we'll keep moving to our next segment here. I found an interesting tweet here from Kalshi founder Tarek Mansour. Mansour Tarek _ says, Kalshi just sets record for most trades in a single day. This was yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm assuming for week 2, Sunday, NFL. I said, election day, 475,000. Today, 484,000 jobs not finished. This tweet was also at 7:37 p.m., so it didn't even get like people betting right before primetime Sunday NFL and what they're doing for the rest of the day. So I wanted to bring this up because I was just kind of curious. What do you guys think was the reasoning behind this? How could just week 2 NFL be something that could actually, no pun intended, trump the election day totals?
Yeah, I think there's just that much demand for NFL betting. And once you start to add it to prediction markets where there's already an established user base that's been betting other stuff there over the years, you're just going to get naturally some crossover into sports. So, I mean, we've talked about prediction markets quite a bit here on the channel as a whole. I had an interview last week with Jared Strober, who's a market maker for some prediction markets as well. It's not really a surprise. I think the numbers are just going to only get better and better and better as the season goes on, and there's more adoption for them. So I'm happy that Kalshi had a good day. They're obviously our sponsors, but I think they're a really solid product as well, and they provide a lot of liquidity to the market. So good to see it. I didn't really know that we'd get there that quickly, but it is interesting.
You know, I'm totally shocked that a similar business opened down the street from a brain-dead squirrel factory who does the same thing might see an uptick in their business. As people no longer, you know, the commercials, the one that get air commercials are run by brain-dead squirrels.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that the other people in the orbit would see upticks.
Yeah, I really like Kalshi, but like I'm not sure I look at this as like a positive for Kalshi here. Like what NFL, this is their second week of NFL trading, right? So like it kind of shows that people really want to bet on sports and don't care as much to bet on the other stuff. Like, and I don't think that's shocking, but like I think it's honestly, it's clearly showing Kalshi is growing, which is great, but also is a bit of a reflection of what people truly care to bet on, which is sports and which is NFL Sunday.
Well said. And I agree with you. I mean, like the fact that we're this early in the sports prediction market cycle and already you're having bigger days than the election day really does go to show what people care about betting on.
Pardon my ignorance on this. Politics is obviously big, but is it like bigger than like a niche sport? Like golf and hockey, would we call those niche betting sports?
I would say that there's like tiers of sports, and they're definitely like tier B. They're more niche. Like I would consider ping pong. Or
I would even say maybe
volleyball.
Tier C, honestly.
Yeah, to be
for
more niche.
Golf and hockey, though.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, is
politics
politics bigger than?
Well, what are we considering politics? Like the U.S. Presidential election, or like the other stuff? U.S. election. Yes, would be in that, but like, you know, the mayoral race is like big, but wouldn't even say as big as that. But also, to be fair to Kalshi here as well, like there's not really, obviously election day, there was a lot of bets, which clearly shows here, but a lot of people are placing bets pre-election, like way before, unlike true. NFL.
But this is saying it was on that day specifically.
No, but to Kirk's point, he said like a lot of people will get their election bets in way prior to election day.
Maybe same with football.
No, but NFL, the market's up for a week. The election market was up for 2 years.
And
4
also,
years,
just from like industry studies, the vast majority of NFL bets are coming in day of. Sadly,
right?
Because the general public
maybe don't do that.
What would get more action, the presidential election or the Masters?
I think the presidential
the election.
I believe.
It's a good question, though.
I think the presidential election would get more action than an entire month's worth of NHL.
Wow,
okay,
that's a big claim.
I could be out to. I don't know. That's just an educated guess, but I believe that would be the case. Because people like to bet when they are opinionated, and you know what politics is? It's a lot of opinions on both sides, and people like to put their money when their mouth is.
If you think people want to put their egos on the line with their ball knowledge, politics is like 10x that.
At least it's on the same level. I would say.
Yeah.
At least it's on the same level.
All right, I'm going to make a poll right now in the chat for you guys to interact with. What gets more action? Does it the U.S. presidential election or 1 month of the NHL? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts as we go here. I feel like it might be close, so we'll see what people in the chat say. But we will move on to our next topic for just a second here, because if you do want to sign up to Kalshi, who we were just talking about, and you want to help contribute to some of these record-setting numbers with some of these unique markets, and also the markets are more used to like NFL betting markets with a high level of liquidity oftentimes, you can sign up with the QR code that is on screen right now. If you're watching later in audio form, you can go to the link in the description. Or if you're on YouTube and you just don't feel like doing it right now, you can go to the link in the description at any point throughout your watching experience, be it while we're live or while we are not live. Sign up to Kalshi, get involved with a great product, and also you can support the Hammer directly in the process. Now, we're going to keep it kind of on the topic with regulations and the state of the industry as we move into the next topic, which is involving a tweet here from @jagginoff_69. Loco Rocco says, old betting sites and new betting sites, a transition any decent sports bettor has to make. The U.S. government says we recommend using onshore sportsbooks because they're safer and more regulated, blah, blah, blah. Me, well, yeah, I would if I wasn't limited to $5 and 90% of the onshores. And to showcase is a stack of what we would call regulated recreational sportsbooks, and then a variety of other sportsbooks that are in the offshore space, which you can perhaps get more money down in some certain areas, and we'd say most areas with these sites. How do we feel about that? Let's go to Kirk here, first of all. I would say because you have a bit less experience just based on age in the sports betting space. Is this a transition that you've seen, that you've gone with? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like I think anyone that wins, this is what happens. There's not one onshore sportsbook other than, I guess, Pinnacle in Ontario.
And that was offshore for a while.
And yeah. Isn't in the States, right?
Correct, and not in the U.S.
Yeah, there's not really one onshore book that will keep you around if you win. So, yeah, I agree with Jagginoff69 that this is...
Jagginoff.
Sorry.
Jagginoff. Big Liam
this
Cohen
is
fan.
like, if you win in betting, you will get limited by all of these books, and you will have to find alternate ways to bet. And look, if you look at the bottom right picture here, Bookmaker, Bet Online, sort of, Bet 105, Pin, all those books won't limit you. So
okay,
it makes sense.
So I could do a 3-hour episode on this, and I won't turn it into a 3-hour episode. I grew up in the offshore space. Me and Geoff probably bet a lot offshore. And there were certain sites where, yes, that you've mentioned, where you could bet and they would not cut you off or they wouldn't limit you. I'll tell you what also happened on a lot of those sites. For one, took 18 months for me to get $20,000 out from one site in the offshore space. You would basically withdraw and like check your crypto wallet every day in the hopes that you would possibly get your money. You would take a shot, like an angle shot, where maybe a game was left up 5 minutes after it started. They would seize your funds and just not even allow you to get them out altogether. So I understand the limiting aspect of it. However, remember that most bettors lose. The vast majority of bettors, like 98%, are not going to get limited. And for those people, there is no chance in hell that the offshore products are better for them. The product itself is worse. They have to deal with crypto, which they've probably not dealt with before, to get money in and out. The rules and regulations are much less clear. I'm not saying that every sports book that's listed in this guy's favorites are a scam. I bet on a lot of them. But there's that stuff. And then also on top of it, if you are a winning bettor like myself or Kirk, you know, there are other shady practices that happen with a lot of these books. Like one on that screen, I can bet $250 into that book, and they're going to go bet it at every other book on the planet and move the entire market. So like we can pump the brakes on like all of these being great options for bettors. I think having a mix is ultimately the best. And I limiting is it's a nuisance. It's annoying. I wish books would take a better bet, but the reality is I don't think you want to just drive people offshore either. There's a lot of problems that can come with that.
I disagree. I mean, sure, like if you get the best of both, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But like 100 out of 100, if you're making me pick one, I'm picking offshore, and it's like by a definitive gap. Okay?
Okay.
Like it's not even close. And not everyone has the consortium and network of beard accounts like friends of mine do. I won't name anyone or accuse anyone.
Sure.
But there's a deep infrastructure by the people who are condoning these newer made-for-TV sites because they have a full infrastructure of an ability to replenish the account that gets taken from you. Say that.
Yeah.
End rant.
Okay.
So it's that.
I know. I'll disagree. Like, look at these sites, Geoff. My bookie, horrible,
Right.
horrendous. I wouldn't recommend my
So you
worst
gotta know.
enemy
You
to
gotta
go
know
bet.
where to play.
Well, but the average person doesn't.
So they're being fucking fed a web of lies on the commercials that do them no more favors.
What's the web of lies? What are they being? You're suggesting that they could possibly win on. I think it's misleading. There's no chance that half of these products, the majority of them, are better than any of the products above.
If I could pick one, it's not even close.
I had an $80,000 balance on
pick
Heritage
one.
that I still can't get out.
The fuck is Heritage?
It is a huge offshore site and
Okay.
always
Used to
has
Pretty
been.
good, honestly.
It takes. I can
start
withdraw
naming books.
$1,000 at a
Bet
time.
Online, bookmaker, they're better than everything on that top shelf.
I love Bet
Everything.
Online. I like
Everything.
Bookmaker.
Everything.
But the average
Everything.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
The average person that's going to bet at Bookmaker is going to lose way quicker than they're going to lose at DraftKings or FanDuel or MGM. They're betting into a sharp book. They have no hope of winning there. They also don't have they don't even have the bet types that are going to appease a casual bettor.
I already completely disagree with you. Their chances like 3% maybe better going to a place that'll stop letting them bet the moment that they start winning. Some people speak from like a deep infrastructure of bearded and extra accounts, like they're swimming in
Forget
them.
about the bearded or extra accounts.
No, it's
so you
all
had one
part
chance
of
to
it.
bet everywhere. The average person is never going to win at Bookmaker. They have no hope of winning at Bookmaker. Zero.
They have just as good of a chance as winning at these other places if they don't know the lines that you're speaking of and the shows that you're listening to.
But the
are
average
giving.
person can go bet a $2 SGP at FanDuel or DraftKings
They can
every
make
day
a
for the life.
$2 bet at Bookmaker,
Yeah,
a 5-team parlay. Who cares? What's the difference?
Because there's not that many options at Bookmaker. It's not even remotely close to the same product. I love betting at Bookmaker. Don't get me wrong. It suits me well. I need high limits.
Bet
and stuff
online,
like,
better than all of them.
I like Bet Online as well, but they have Prop Builder. I mean, it's like
So the
such
second
a shit
you
experience.
win one, your experience is ended, but you can just replenish. That's it. You have
Prop
unlimited
Builder
lives.
limits, Geoff,
You have
at
unlimited.
BetOnline. Like,
you
it's the
have
same-
you have unlimited lives. It's almost not even fair having the conversation with you.
I don't
about
have
it.
unlimited lives. I don't.
You get unlimited quarters to stuff back into the arcade machine, and
I will
Rob
tell you
gets
this
to
right
keep
now,
playing.
and this is the 100% truth. I don't multi-account at any legal sports book, and I don't because my lawyers tell me, listen, it's prosecutable in Ontario. If anyone is ever going to be made an example of, it's probably someone public-facing. Don't do that. I don't multi-account at these sites. I've burned tons of accounts, but for the average person, like there's no way that Bookmaker is a better product for the majority of the population.
It'll be a better experience, and maybe their chances are 3% less, which to you is like the world because it's like a professional situation. But to the casual, that 3% is negligible.
I don't even.
And I don't
feel
even
like
know
we're
that I agree with you.
But I actually think a loser is just as likely to lose at Bookmaker as
I agree
FanDuel.
with that.
But I agree with you that FanDuel is more fun. Like there's more options. You can SGP more. So if you're a losing bettor and you're betting at Bookmaker, it's kind of like, why are you betting here?
Okay,
Because
so
you
now
wouldn't
we're
even
talking
experience it.
specifically loser.
But if you're like
we're
a
talking
small
just
winner,
specifically loser.
yeah, I agree with you. If you're a small winner and you just want to bet and you're pretty good, but you don't care so much, obviously you're going to have to use Bookmaker or Bet Online because you're going to get killed at FanDuel or DraftKings and not be able to bet there anymore.
There's also
There's
one
just a
more
big spectrum.
word each
It's
to
just a
Rob
big
and Geoff.
spectrum.
Rob and Geoff.
It's hard to say.
Rob and
Well,
Geoff, one more comment each.
I would
then
also
move
say
on.
there's a spectrum of winners, right? So someone who makes their livelihood top-down betting, for example, that's how they win. They're not going to win at Bookmaker because they're using.
They don't even come into my thought
Right.
process for this conversation.
it takes a special breed to be.
They're working a game where they got odd screens up and they got everything, and they're not even relevant.
Right.
I'm not disrespecting what they're doing.
Yeah.
And good for them when they can crush it, but they're not even part of. They don't even exist in this conversation. That'd be now we're bringing a different thing into this.
Fair enough. I would just say that even the rec offshores, the Bodogs in Canada or Bovada in the U.S., Heritage, my bookie. I mean, there's lots of examples out there right now. The same problems exist. They are still going to limit no matter what. That on top of that, you have like there's so many ways to get your funds frozen in those accounts that just don't happen on a regular. I send money to Kirk. Kirk deposits from the same Bitcoin wallet into Bovada, and now I deposit into Bovada. They've linked our accounts. I'm never seeing my money again.
I don't know if I agree with that, though, because FanDuel and DraftKings do the same shit.
And Bovada's got almost as much as FanDuel.
They don't have access to our bank account transactions.
Yeah, but they'll demand, like, pictures.
Sure.
It's kind of the same thing.
Listen,
Well, yeah.
I'm playing Pac-Man.
Last thing.
Me and the people,
Yeah.
we're playing Pac-Man.
Yeah.
We got 3 lives. You've got the Game Genie hacks.
Yeah.
That's my final comment. So I don't think we're like it's different worlds.
All right. We'll move into the comments. And hey, we've had a good discussion on the show today. We can continue the discussion as well with the chat. Thank you so much for the people in the chat and in the comment section. Even though these weren't featured in the live chat, they were featured in the comment section on last week's live stream. So thank you to everybody who put stuff in there. First comment comes from Jim H3595. Basically agreed with what we said on last week's show. We were talking about the quote-unquote Phillies Karen who stole the ball away from the kid on his birthday. Said it's not like the Karen committed child abuse. She got pissed and acted like a complete jerk, but the doxing shit is wrong and dangerous. We're running low on time, so we all kind of agree with that, so no need to really make an additional comment. I wanted to feature it. But this one here, Ernie B820 said, maybe I'm just stupid. I think the CEO of Draftkings, which a tweet we referenced last week, is tweeting at investors or potential investors. It's primarily a tech company with a tech-minded CEO. If the sky fell and they found themselves out of the sports betting market, they would just pivot to something else like stock or crypto exchange. Geoff, any thoughts from you on this comment?
Probably a smart comment,
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to have an opinion.
I think the first part's true. I think the second part is silly.
It would be pretty hard for them to pivot to like
be
a completely
impossible.
different business model
Yes.
at this point. That would be challenging. I will say that I think that's fair. I think part of the issue I have with Jason Robbins is I feel like he has the inability to connect with people with a lot of the things that he says. A lot of it feels very robotic, and also like, why would you ever say that? But I don't know him well enough to. I don't know enough about him to say that like he's a tech-minded CEO. That's all he cares about. I don't know. It seems like an interesting comment, but not one that I could verify or rebut, so to speak.
The last comment comes at you a little bit, Kirk, so get ready for it. So it's this from Michael McCumber 1339 says, I hate how some of you so-called sharp bettors like Kirk and Kelly in Vegas and a lot of others act and say that rec bettors are dumb. I try very hard to study betting, but others don't care as much as you, so don't call them dumb. I love Rob. No homo. I like Geoff and Jacob. Keep up the good work, guys. So he likes me and Geoff. He loves Rob, but Kirk, he's not too much a fan of.
Also, a lot of layers.
I didn't get lumped in with the sharp bettors either. Kirk and Kelly in Vegas.
Kelly in
What the
Vegas
fuck
is sharp,
that?
Rob. You're not,
There are
pal.
levels to this. Kelly in Vegas here,
Yeah.
Rob, you're around here. I don't. What part of the show was this even referencing?
I couldn't
I don't
really
think-
figure it out.
I don't think rec bettors are dumb at all. I think a lot of rec bettors don't study as much as it seems like you do. But yeah, I say it all the time. It's really hard to win in betting, and there are a lot of rec bettors who are 1,000 times smarter than me in every other walk of life. So I don't know. Maybe Kelly in Vegas thinks that, but
I could only assume, like, the only rec better you would make fun of is a rec better cosplaying as like a tout or a
Yeah,
shark,
shark,
like
yeah.
a true
agreed.
know-it-all of gambling. Other than that, I've never seen you take a.
Yeah. To be clear, it's
shot at a
totally
rec.
fine to be a rec better. If you're a casual and you just want to bet for entertainment, I see zero issue with that at all. I've never
Do
really
you know what
gone
it
after
costs to
people
do
like that.
anything these days?
I know. I agree with you.
That's what I mean. Like, you're almost forcing people to stay home.
Go
and-
see a movie with your wife and a bag of popcorn. It's like $50. I might as well throw that on an SGP. What do you care? I'll get way more entertainment.
Try to
out of it
get
than having-
5 movies out of it.
Yeah.
Or, we miss one, but I still watch the game.
All right, last full-scale topic will come up in just a second here, but you noticed I talked about continuing the conversation. Well, the conversation extends even further beyond just the content we have here on YouTube and on Twitter. Rob, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, long overdue, because we're a sports betting media company, but we are launching a Discord starting today. It will be free at first. I cannot guarantee it will be free forever, because if it takes off, we probably will charge for it. We are a business. I want to level with you. But as of today, we are starting it, and we do have the link down in the description below. If you want to join it and take these conversations after the YouTube shows are done into the Discord, interact with one another, that would be great. I do a lot of feedback. I talk to a lot of people who watch and listen to our shows. I did get a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, this is really cool. We watch your live watch-alongs. We watch Hit the Books. We do all this. But then the show's done, and we have nowhere to interact with one another. We don't even know who each other are. So we're trying to create some sort of valuable place where you can come together as a community after our shows, outside of our shows. And during the Chargers-Raiders game tonight, I'll be active in the Discord, watching along that, firing off any live bets that I see, as will a lot of our other Forward Progress creators. So check it out today if you can get signed up. It is in the link in the description below. I won't lie to you, it'd be very beneficial to our business if we can grow this in a big way. But I do value community, and I think we've built a good one here. I'd love to interact with you guys more often, outside of just answering a Twitter DM every now and then, or seeing some comments during a show. So please check it out, be active in it. Let's try to build it together. That would be very solid if I can get your help in doing so.
And this goes across the entire network, but specifically for Circle Back, if you're watching this, hopefully you like Circle Back. We do the hashtag Circle Back on Twitter, but we'll also have a channel set up for you to send in your submissions to the Discord, so that we can use that to help us pick the content you want to see on the shows, and we can get some real-time reactions from you guys on some certain tweets that come out, and we can kind of maybe gauge that sentiment towards what we put together for the show. So a great product coming out. Make sure you do check it out. Our last full-scale segment coming up here. We're going back to Dr. Jesse Morse. Is it Morse or Morsey?
Morse, I think.
Dr. Jesse Morse, MD, says, in honor of Austin Ekeler tearing his Achilles, how do running backs do after tearing their Achilles tendon? Awful. Since 2010, 43% of running backs have retired after their torn Achilles tendon. And then he goes to list a bunch of stats about how bad it is for you to tear your Achilles as a running back. Mitchell Schwartz at Mitch Schwartz 71 says, in honor of? What is this? What is wrong with people? Yes, let's honor the guy that just had a career-ending injury by showing how he's either done or going to suck when he comes back. Cool. Rob, you were laughing at this one before the show started, so why don't you give your thoughts first?
Well, obviously, horrible choice of words. I think we can extend this into a larger topic about the Twitter doctors, which I want to talk about. But this is the equivalent of showing up at a hospital and handing out pamphlets of average life expectancy with, the sickness or illness that you have, and people being like, what the fuck? It's horrible. I think it was just a bad choice of words, but I do want to say, I may follow Jesse Moore still. I'm not sure if I do or not. I do see his tweets a lot in the For You tab. I got to tell you, if you were putting together a Mount Rushmore of the most not respected people in the space, I think he would have to be up there. I'm talking, a tweet goes out and 95% of the comments on every tweet are negative. It's Rebellion is what I would put. Ravel is the king, is the Mount Rushmore of that, right? He's got 2 million subscribers. Somehow he gets no engagement on any of his tweets, but all the engagement is people telling him he's a clown, right? I'm a little bit biased in my statement of it. I would maybe put Fez on that Mount Rushmore as well, where all the you just read the comments and they're all negative at all times. Jesse Morse is up there as well, and this is second Simon Hunter mention of the show today. But I'm not putting him on the Mount Rushmore. I will say, people often ask me about, what's your problem? What's the problem with Simon for you, right? And I don't like people who misrepresent themselves, especially when it's my profession, right? So if you're a pro bettor and someone else is masquerading as being the Billy Walters of football, and they're not, it just irks you. It would irk anyone in any profession. And I think a lot of the Twitter doctors nowadays are actually really good, but the entire thing gets a bad rap because of 2 or 3 really bad apples. I am very reliant on some of these Twitter doctors on a weekly basis. I think they do a great job of breaking, but then there's guys like Jesse who, from my experience, just guess on things, make stuff up. I laughed because it's just like a microcosm of how I view this guy in the industry as a whole.
Who would you rather be on your side? Dr. Jesse for a medical situation, or attorney at law Bo Wagner? Like, who would you try if you... Obviously, medical is more life or death.
Great comparison.
So, like, obviously, like, you're more nervous about the medical thing, but, like, let's just say they're equal in some level in terms of the severity of the legal situation you face to the medical quandary that you're stuck with. So would you go to a vet before you deal with Jesse?
Well, I'm big on crowdsourcing, like reviews and feedback, right? So when I see a Jesse Morse tweet and I click it and I see the quote tweets and the responses, it is just a lot of people who are like, well, you were wrong about this. You made this up. You did this. You did. They're all negative. So in his line of work, like I would never go to this guy. With Bo Wagner, I might think he's like, he's a tout and in all likelihood misleads his audience. But I don't know.
Mislead a jury for you.
I don't know. I don't know how he is as a lawyer.
He's clearly very convincing.
He could be a great lawyer.
He
jumped in those spaces back in the day, and he was fucking flaming people in there. They went in guns blazing. He made them look like idiots.
Point Bo.
Yeah, Bo. Maybe he's gonna be my new gaming lawyer.
I think guys like Jesse, it's just like some people have like knowledge and confidence, and when the confidence is just so much higher, like I went through these comments and someone reminded me of the time where Jesse Morris was yelling at a player's dad, saying that he had a better idea of the injury because he watched the video than the guy's dad. It's like, and he had the tweet about gambling as well, of like the 90% tax thing, and like just like made such ludicrous comments. It's just, he is so unbelievably confident that it doesn't even actually matter how good he is, because he could never be as good as his confidence, so it makes him come off as an idiot.
Jesse Morse is the type of guy that would tweet out like Happy Mother's Day, and the 100% of the responses would be like, what the fuck do you know about Mother's Day and this and that? Like he just found a way to, like, the community has collectively bought into him being a clown. It's tweets like this in honor of Austin Ekeler tearing his Achilles. Very poorly worded, but yeah, I don't know. The Twitter doctors for me. I mean, you guys know my Nico Collins story from last year, I think, with a different Twitter doctor. No,
I don't think I know that story.
I think Geoff might.
We can't start this.
well, yeah, I'll tease that for another day. But
Sure.
Let's just say I knew Nico Collins was not going to play in a game and was going to take warm up to make it look like he was playing, and I got a call from a Twitter doctor letting me know that I was wrong, that he was absolutely going to be playing. They had very good intel, and guess what happened? Nico Collins didn't play.
He did play.
That's the state. That's the TLDR version.
I like the
I don't
comment.
want to be here when you talk badly about my friend.
About your what?
My friend.
Which? Oh, he's your friend.
I think, well, if we're
Well, you know what? I've seen you in some pictures with your. I listen. No, on a personal level, I don't care. But
I'm joking.
I just don't like when people say, like, I'm certain this is gonna. You're not. By what? Because you've studied injuries before. Like, I know he's not gonna play. What do you want me to tell you? They're like, no. We were told. We were told it was going to be a short-term hamstring injury. They kept him out last week as precautionary purposes. I'm like, you're wrong. What do you want me to tell you? You're wrong. Simple as that.
I could be mixing up doctors.
You fucking called me, Geoff. I'm like, what the fuck is this number? I'm like, I don't know.
From the West Coast?
I imagine you guys are talking about the same person.
It was a West Coast doctor.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the chopping block. Usually reserved for the stuff we thought didn't need full-scale segments, but in this case, stuff that easily could have been full-scale segments that we just had to condense the show. So still some very good topics to discover here. First of all, we had one that came up about Barry Horse. Redacted Gambler said, popular tout Barry Horse goes 0-3 for the week in college football. He commented, obviously, have to be better, but the true followers of the service are only down in fiat. Most should still be up in terms of Bitcoin, the one true global currency. Andrew Gombis, at Bets and Picks MMA, known in sports betting for MMA picks, of course, says Barry Horse is arguably the biggest grifter in the betting space, and he gets a free pass from most people because he comes off as a nice guy. What do we think on this one?
Okay, so first and foremost, for those that don't know, I've interviewed Barry Horse 2 times, and I interact with him quite frequently. maybe this will be like a little bit long-winded, bear with me. I met Barry Horse back in 2018. I thought he was a complete and total fraud when I first met him, because he came on the scene posting MLB picks. He had like these 15, 20% edges in games. He was betting them. I got to talk to him at MIT Sloan that year. I thought he knew what he was talking about at the time. We were both modeling baseball, and he said, here's where I think there's some market inefficiencies right now. It had to do with some catcher framing, stuff that people weren't widely using yet. I left that conversation. I'm like, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about. I know very recently he was working with a Costa Rican-based group for several years that ended up not working out, and they kind of parted ways, and he went on his own. I've heard all sorts of stories. Some he wins, some he loses. There's a famous episode of Circles Off that I did with Johnny where he said, like, would you vouch for me? I'm like, no, I would never vouch for you because I don't know. I never know anything for certain with anyone else other than myself. And I feel the same about Barry Horse. I do think Barry Horse is a winner. However, I believe that once you sell picks, you just open yourself up to the criticism that you are selling picks because you are not a winner and you need to make money some other way. And I think that will always be the case amongst the sharp community. Doesn't mean it's true, but I think that's generally how it's going to be viewed. I will say another thing in regards to Barry Horse with like not working out with that Costa Rican group. I have a very, very similar experience from going from betting, let's say like $10,000 or $20,000 a game to working with a group who's now trying to bet like $500,000 a game on my stuff. And it is a completely different experience because the numbers you were betting before are no longer the numbers that you're capable of getting when you have to move at scale. On top of that, you have such an influence on the closing line that you have no idea whether your stuff is good or not. You're just kind of praying. So there's all these challenges that are involved with betting at scale. And there are very few people in the world that can bet at that scale and win. It just doesn't happen. So if people want to judge him on that, they can rightly do so. I don't know. Last thing I'll say in regards to my experience with Barry Horse, he does share info with me a lot in the space. I think he's very well connected. He has a 100% track record in anything that he's ever shared with me. I can't say that for other people. Some people will tell me like, Justin Herbert's not going to play this week. He's got a rib injury, and I'll act and I'll trust it or whatever. But people have been wrong many times before. With Barry Horse, he never has been. Whenever he sent something to me of like, I think this is the way it's going to play out this week. And because of that, and like taking all this into account, I am much more inclined to believe that just even off access to info, that he is a winner in the long run. But because of the pick selling, you just do it to yourself at the end of the day. And once you go to any sort of sales model, the rest of the sharp community just changes their tune on you, whether it's right or wrong. So that's my 2 cents. I don't think he's a grifter. And I don't say that just because he sounds smart when he talks. I'm just taking all these data points as a whole, and I believe that he will win betting on sports. Whether or not you can win tailing his service, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, I think there are people I know that I'm friends with who would tell me that Barry Horse 100% is a winner and 100% is a loser.
Yep.
I tend to think he wins betting, and I think he's a pretty smart guy. And I hope he's right about Bitcoin. That's really all I got.
Same. I also wouldn't give him a free pass just because he sounds smart. Like, I never would do that with anyone. If he loses on his service, he's going to have to own that this year for people. That's just part of what comes with the territory. I'll be one of the first to call him out. If you're going to sell at that price point and people can't win off of it, people think like we hate right angle sports. We don't hate right angle sports. We were just talking about like you got to own the results going forwards and whether or not you still have an edge.
I mean, I've never used the service, but I like him.
Yep.
I would be shocked. Like, I'm naive enough to believe he absolutely is a winner. You guys would know more than me.
Yeah.
And I absolutely don't think he's a grifter. I actually really like him.
Yeah. I would never.
And I don't get the edges. It's not like I'm getting edges sent to my DMs, but just from afar, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the second topic on the chopping block, which was brought up by Old friend of the show, Geoff Nadeau, used to be on the Friday show with myself. He says, if you're betting Georgia Tech at +3 when you could have had 6 just days ago, you should find something else to do with your money. Fastest payout says +3.5 and +6 are essentially the same line in college football or NFL. And Nadeau was surprised by that take. Brendan L, I think that is, says, I think we found Fez's burner. #circle back. What is the difference between 3.5 and 6 in college football or NFL? Is it actually nothing, Rob?
No, it's definitely not nothing. We can say that with certainty. Like, you can go to a sharp book like Pinnacle, for example, and just click the drop-down box and notice that they charge you more to buy off of 3.5 to 6, and that's because historically X amount of games are going to land on 4. 5 is pretty dead, but like there's going to be a few there as well. I don't know. This fastest payout guy has interacted on a lot of my tweets before. I know absolutely nothing about him. Other than that, I probably disagree with 99% of things that he's said. And I think it says like professional sports bettor in his bio. I would be interested in like maybe just talking to him at some point, because we see the world in very, very different ways. But like, I don't know how you could say that. It's like
professional gambler, 20 plus years of experience.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Mathematician, former athlete.
Triathlete.
I hate when people say,
Discord.
that line means nothing. It's like, just click the drop down on pen. Like, it's not a very hard thing to figure out. Like, why are we saying things that are so like provable? Just literally look. It's so easy to tell how much numbers are worth. I guess he said essentially the same line, but 3.5 to 6 is for sure like if you have a 6 that moved to a 3.5, that is certainly a very positive bet.
It's very easy to just go back and look at like this arbitrary endpoint, but just take the last 5 years of college football and NFL and look at how many games land 4 or 5. Like I don't. There's going to be games that landed on those numbers, and those are going to persist moving forwards. Like I don't even know how this could possibly have been said. I don't know if he went to bat and argued with people about this or not. I have no idea. But I will say this particular account looks very familiar to me in that maybe I have it muted and I don't even. I got it.
Just to add some context to this, Chosen Sports says in the chat that this bet won. Georgia Tech won the game, so they're underdog, everything covered on the spread.
Right.
So he acted like he won the argument because Georgia Tech won the game. And, hey,
Yeah.
+3 won anyways.
Oh,
That's kind of the
number
worst
didn't
thing.
matter.
Well, he only wins
Yeah.
the argument if the game lands on like 4 or 5 or 6. Like
Yeah.
in his logic.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can only lose the argument
Yeah.
if it lands 4 or 5.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which is rare, but it does happen, and it is priced in.
Yeah,
as they were
I
pointing
did
out
have
there.
him muted, and he's only followed by looks like 7 people that I follow as well. So yeah, we definitely don't interact. I'll tell you that.
Before we go to our second last feature on the chopping block, as a reminder, if you haven't hit the like button, please make sure you do so. I haven't said it yet. I should have said it, but hey, if you've gotten this far in the show, you must have enjoyed it. That deserves a like, so hit that like button. Also subscribe to Circles Off, because we have Circle Back Mondays and Fridays. We also have other content coming out on Wednesdays. So
I will say,
a lot of
Jacob,
content.
just because they got this far in the show doesn't mean they enjoyed it. It could be a hate watch. Those do happen as well, where I watch.
But you enjoyed it in a way, right?
Hate watching live is pretty heavy.
You know how petty and how big of a loser I am? I'll hate watch live, and I'll smash the thumbs down button as well.
No, I'm such a petty loser. Like I wouldn't even give you the view.
I know. I can't help it.
Even though I know the view is like the single view.
Well, so
is totally irrelevant.
But the hate watches
I don't wanna-
watch are entertaining, I will say. I do them for entertainment purposes.
So to air out the secret to true hating is giving them the view for 1 second, then clicking off. It is better
Yeah, that
for the
killed-
algorithm if you were to just not watch the video rather
Right.
than if you click and then unclick immediately.
What if you click thumbs down and then leave?
If you stay for 5 seconds, click the thumbs down and leave. I think that's the worst you could do
Okay,
to harm
good.
that video. The
New
algorithm.
strategy.
Good to know.
Thanks,
Because
Jacob.
it means you watch 5 seconds. It means the title and thumbnail did not deliver on what the actual video is about, and you disliked it so much that you were not willing to watch any further and didn't like it.
And for the people listening now that want to try that, you'll have to wait for
the people in chat,
Please
Friday
don't do that.
Actually,
to us, yes.
the best way is just to sit through the whole thing, and
Yeah, that's what I was doing to Amateur Hour Sports last year during Raptors watch-alongs.
All right, second last on the chopping block today, as I mentioned, comes from Brad Powers once again, and it's on the topic of numbers mattering. He finished it with hashtag numbers matter, and he says, if you got in front of every 3-point or more move in the FBS versus FBS market size and totals, congrats, you're 70-53, 57% this year. If you faded every 3-point or move or more move in the FBS versus FBS market right before kickoff, congrats, you're at 68, 52, and 3 this year, 57%. What do these numbers mean, everyone?
You know what? I fucking love this tweet. That's 2 from Powers today. I always struggle to like relay this to the average follower and this is just like the perfect way to do it. It really is. It's like you go on to beat the number to start. There potentially stuff over moves at some point in the market where like a bunch of people are chasing, and you can bet back when a lot of it's over moved. And listen, it's limited sample. That doesn't mean it's going to continue going forwards. But I think Kirk would agree. We strongly agree that numbers matter in sports. I know how seriously this guy takes closing line value and being out ahead of market. I hate not getting good numbers personally. And I think this tweet just like captured it so perfectly in a way that I probably should have thought of a long time ago, but it's just really, really good to highlight it, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's been tweeting it for years, and it's just like a really good encapsulation. The only thing is, obviously, don't think that the second line here is like a sustainable way to win.
Oh, 100%. I'd rather be in the top than the latter.
Of course.
But I will agree that I think sports betting markets evolve, and there's a lot more influence in the space nowadays, and people willing to quote-unquote chase steam, even to a point where maybe it's reckless. I personally noticed that a lot more in football nowadays than I did previously. So I think that there are instances where this stuff really does overmove. I don't know that I would blindly bet back the other way. On all these going forwards, I'd rather be in bucket A than bucket B. But I think it's a good illustration of how the market is functioning right now.
All right, last tweet up. Young Reezy just said, any GRP content? Yes. The final tweet, GRP did his pick video where he talks about giving out Jets +7. And then one of the replies has, what is this, Mr.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and it's the gif of him putting on a clown mask. And GRP quoted and said, people send me these tweets because, of course, for the second week in a row, he has a bet that within the first quarter was completely cooked. I think that's the way to describe it. Here are the bets that he showcased on the notebook. Here's the Jets +7 bet, which he bet at 9:55 a.m. in 58 seconds, in case you're wondering.
That's so good. I never noticed that before.
The seconds just killed me. But, how do you guys feel? I mean, like you, Rob, you said it without barriers. Once you enter the pick selling space, this is just a tune that people change. You know?
I'm going to say I found this a lot funnier last week when it was the Dolphins because I didn't have the same play as him. I also bet the Jets. So a
lot of people did.
I was not as amused this week.
I think on the Forward Progress bet stand page, 3 separate bets for Jets were in. 2 of them at +7, 1 at 6.5. So it was popular.
Jason was recording Hammer Daily here earlier, and we didn't want to like disturb the piece and make noise. So me and Geoff were in the lunchroom, and I was telling Geoff, I'm like, I'm kind of out on the GRP stuff right now. I don't know why. Like I thought I would be more into his picks as the year goes on, and then Jeff's like, you know what, Rob? He's just gonna do something though that pulls you right back in. I'm waiting for that moment right now because, frankly, it's just. I'm not into it. I thought I would be. I'm like, I thought this was going to be a thing where it's like, who's he going to release? What's he on?
The fact that you don't find endless humor in him getting whipped right now.
Well, he couldn't have picked a worse side in either week.
In back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks, he got absolutely
Last
destroyed.
year, again, I keep going back to it. He only picked 14 sides for the whole season.
Yeah, I think
Went 10-4.
And 4 this week.
And
Wait,
he's
go back.
already-
What was the bottom one? That
The Chiefs lost.
So he's 0-3 to start.
0-3 to start. He's got 2 on Monday night. I will ride with George on the first leg of the Monday night.
Yeah, you're looking for
doubleheader.
Wow.
your
we went
first leg.
against you, eh?
I thought you were going to say the first leg on his sheet.
No.
I'm like, are you crazy? You're going to bet against your Chargers?
No, well, I hope he loses that.
Yes.
But if he wants to cash that out in full, he could bet it with me.
I will say, maybe some advice directly to you, George, because I know you watch the show. There's another handicapper out there right now who's implemented this high volume strategy that has been extremely effective for him. So maybe you have to get away from the low volume strategy, because when you're in the hole, there's no way, there's no quicker way to get out of it than implement a high volume strategy. When you've torched 3/4 of a bankroll, you might as well just get another bankroll from somewhere and implement a high volume strategy. So I think George should do that going forward.
George is on tilt. And one of the things that I give him credit for always, in how silly or reckless some of his bets are, it's like he never chases.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's pretty disciplined. You might not agree with the bets.
I agree with
but
you.
he's actually pretty disciplined. That Dolphins week 1 pick loss has put him into a absolute tailspin. And I warned him about it in our content.
Yes.
So that this could happen.
We
So
still
here we are.
yet to release the breakfast
Yeah.
episodes. Those will be coming out. Those
those
will be
are
over on
some
the
good-
Hammer
those are some
HQ.
good stuff.
Oh, I've seen some of the footage.
Yeah.
I did notice you farted getting out of the car when you were going.
I don't
for
know that that's true.
You said "oops."
I
Like
don't
there
know
was
what
a
that means. No, I could have dropped my portable charger.
It
You
sounded
got no
like
idea.
it sounded like a fart.
Listen.
And then you said "oops."
If you're claiming, listen, I will not die on the hill that I didn't fart after eating a beef sandwich.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna die on this hill that I didn't fart, but I'm saying this is an unknown. I think.
I will say, last week, midweek, I had indulged in some marijuana at night with my wife, and we were like, "What are we gonna watch?" I'm like, let's watch the GRP series. Like, tell me what you think of this. She was fucking all in on this. She's like, this is amazing. The last episode with the snake boards, Geoff, your reactions. If people haven't watched that yet on the Hammer HQ, watch it. But when Geoff found out that GRP's never found a snake, he's like, what are we doing here? He's like, GRP's like trying to back away. He's like, Jeff's like, I can guarantee you there is not a snake under there. That was amazing. That's the pick stuff. I'm not super into. GRP, like in his element, living his life, barbecuing in the backyard, spraying the core. I'm all there.
So
for
we
that.
get into it, on our breakfast tour, because you still haven't seen the breakfast tour. And the breakfast tour, the conversations get a little heavier. You just ask him about, there has to have been one that got away. There's an alternate universe where George settled down, had a family of his own, so I started digging into a bit of that. We hit some heavier topics, because there's a lot of people on the internet that like to just portray George as a lazy son.
Right.
On the flip side, George is a good son.
Yes.
He came home. His mom didn't want to leave her home. He came home to take care of her so she could still live a certain lifestyle in her home. And obviously his sister is well-to-do and she's at West with a husband and kids. They're not moving to the Midwest.
Right.
So I'm just saying the good son, lazy son debate, the ones that maybe have gotten away.
Yeah.
George might have been a big swinging hammer back in Delmar, back in the day. You never know.
It's true, man.
And I told George, if he ever, knocked anyone up in high school and they had to have an abortion, that child would have been about my age. So
Wow.
we sort of, listen, I came at him.
It's a really weird thing to think of on the spot, but I guess.
You know what? Listen, it was just part of the...
I will say, Geoff, in watching that series,
And your wife isn't the only wife that I've heard from wives are enjoying this.
yeah, the wives are enjoying it. They're like, who is this guy? This is amazing.
I never thought about putting my fiance through that, but maybe after some drinks, I'll give it a go and see what she thinks.
I will say, Diana was not into the idea at first. She's like, really?
But does she have any background on George? Because it's pretty hard
She
with
doesn't
no
know
background.
anything.
So that's hard. That's hard.
You just served it cold, like no intro to the characters involved. Just
I said, we're going
Here's
to watch
the
the
video.
first one, and I just want you to tell me what you think, because we haven't done content like this before.
Okay.
Got to the end, and
I'll
she's
give it a
like,
go.
I immediately want to watch the second one. She's like, this guy is so fascinating. I don't know what his deal is. She had a great laugh when George was trying to pick up that girl on the driving range, where he's like, oh, you can give me a lesson anytime.
Jesus.
George
Christ.
offered. She said she's a teacher. So it's the summertime. She's a teacher.
Yeah.
Like she teaches like third grade.
See, I didn't
And-
interpret it as that.
Yes, not a golf teacher.
see-
so that's why when he's
Because
like,
he said he was going to give her
Yeah.
$100. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's $100 waiting for you at
can
any
you
time.
teach me something? And she's like, no, I'm not a teacher like that.
I didn't.
And then he pretty much just was very beautiful.
Yeah.
She was a very beautiful young lady. And consent, respect. We're not putting her on camera. She's
No,
getting
100%.
hoot and hollered at.
I didn't even
by
send
George.
you guys with forms to do that. I didn't
Yeah,
want to.
no, we weren't. That was just a no-go. But yeah, she's just a teacher, and he like solicited her
Yeah.
for
But I
$100
think-
up for her time.
See, I thought
She was not. Yes, in the concept, you're like, this is a girl giving lessons at the
Yeah,
driving
he's
range.
saying I got $100 for you. Give me a lesson
No.
anytime. That's what I thought he was saying. Not like I got $100 like she's a prostitute. Like some people took it that way. I'm
Yes.
Like, no, he definitely wouldn't. do
No,
that.
but he was just cold soliciting a civilian at the driving range for an hour of her time, and she wasn't a golf instructor.
I thought you were a
Okay.
golf instructor.
I can see the confusion. I
See,
can
but do
see
you
how
see
it
how
got.
this?
I would
A little
love to
jumbled
know
up.
what your significant others think about this video. These videos, I really would.
Where can they watch them, Rob?
And I was
Hammer
dying.
HQ.
And I'm not gonna lie, the heat in Chicago was getting to me. I don't know if you had the mic. I was having a hard time.
Yeah, but
during
you don't
one
do
of
the
those
heat
videos.
well. We've talked about this before. You're not the guy that's
Yeah.
going to go out in 90-degree weather to play golf or anything. Yeah, over on the Hammer HQ on YouTube, you'll see it. It's very front and center on that page. But
I love George. I hope he can bounce back. I hate that he's on the Raiders tonight. But we'll hit Houston.
Okay.
I'll ride with you, George. We're ending the losing streak.
The link to that channel is in the chat right now. It's also in the description at any time. So if you're not watching live or in audio form, just go to link in the description to go to the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, where the Hammer Daily also features every day, every weekday, that is, at 12 p.m. Eastern. But that's it from us today on Circle Back. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please, again, smash that like button. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. 3 pieces of content a week, including 2 Circle Back episodes. We have the live one Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, but we also have the pre-recorded one Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time with myself, Chris Dierkes, Joey Kanish, and whoever the fourth may be for that week who may join us. So make sure you tune into that. We will see you again next time for more from the Circles Off channel. Thanks so much, everyone.